America is racing into an exciting new era of opportunity, quickly moving us away from the old world that existed in brick and mortar buildings into a new world that exists online. And the changes are happening so fast that the innovative companies leading the way are soaring. Stocks such as Zillow has climbed 200%. Zoom has risen 300%. And Wayfair, just take a look at that chart. It's jumped 900%. It's a massive tech boom, bigger than any tech boom before it. Bigger than the tech boom of the 1920s when Americans ditched horses for cars, allowing bold investors in General Motors to make 10,000% in just 20 years. It's even bigger than the tech boom of the 1980s when Americans ditched typewriters for computers, allowing bold investors in Microsoft to make 60,000% in less than 20 years. But this tech boom will be even bigger. It will change everything, from the way you work to the way you play, from the way you shop to the way you see your doctor, and from the way you travel to the way you exercise. This leap from the old era to the new era, from the physical world to the online world, isn't just bigger than every tech boom before it, it's coming faster than every tech boom before it. Much faster. That's because recent events have catapulted America 30 years into the future. It's as if we jumped to the year 2050 overnight, which is why MarketWatch calls it a great technology wave cresting over America, as new technologies are rapidly adopted. Harvard Business Review calls it the age of digital disruption that opens the door to create any scenario you can imagine. Valtech calls it an era of disruption and says we will witness more change in the next 10 years than we have seen over the past 40. Yes, more change will come over the next 10 years than we've seen over the last 40 years. That's because technologies like 5G, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and big data aren't just a luxury anymore, they're a necessity. It's the biggest, fastest tech boom in history. Shoppers are abandoning traditional retail stores and malls in favor of online stores, sending stocks like Amazon and Etsy soaring. Employees are abandoning the traditional offices in favor of working from home using virtual solutions, sending stocks such as Slack and DocuSign to record levels. And folks are skipping their local banks in favor of mobile options, sending stocks such as PayPal and Square ripping higher. This tech boom is impacting every area of our lives. People are canceling their gym memberships in exchange for Peloton bikes, boosting that stock to new highs. Home sellers are skipping traditional real estate agents, along with their high fees, in favor of online competitor Redfin, and that stock is moving higher. And movie theaters? Forget about it. They've been vacated in exchange for streaming video services like Roku. That stock is also ripping higher. These are just some of the most recent top performing examples. There are hundreds of others. And you know what? This massive tech boom is just starting. 6 out of every 10 Americans say they will stick to online banking. 7 out of every 10 companies expect working from home to be permanent, saving millions of dollars for both employees and companies alike. And 8 out of 10 consumers plan to continue to shop online, which is why businesses are accelerating their investments in new technology, putting billions into the digital world. Upgrades that were scheduled for 10, 20, and even 30 years in the future are happening today. Projects that were on the to-do list moved over to the do now list. And the government is stepping in to make sure this tech boom isn't just possible, it's virtually guaranteed. They just proposed a massive bill to fuel digital upgrades, saying it's both urgent and critical, which means that right now, as in this very moment, you have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to profit, to see gains of 100%, 500%, and even 1,000% over the next 10 years. Online work solutions company Workiva is soaring. The e-commerce car company Carvana is skyrocketing. Cloud platform company Fastly is surging. And Overstock.com, a trade I recommended at an elite investment conference in September of 2019, has already shot up over 500%. Can you imagine the chance at seeing such phenomenal, even rare gains? This is a leap into a new era that was supposed to take decades to unfold, but it's all happening now. And if you feel you're missing out, you're not alone. Millions of Americans feel the same way. They just don't know how to find these explosive stocks before they shoot higher. Well, I've got great news for you. We're still in the early innings of a tech boom that's just starting, which means the biggest gains are yet to be made. And I'm showing thousands of hardworking Americans how they can use just a fraction of their portfolio to invest in new era companies that are leading this tech boom. Take Donna Rinker, for example. Now, Donna's a small business owner from Nebraska who started following my insights a little over a year ago. And after reading my recommendation to buy Inseego, a 5G company, at $4.44, Donna bought 6,000 shares. That'd be a $26,000 investment. Again, I didn't tell her to put her whole retirement in it. Nobody should bet the farm like that. She only invested a sliver of her entire portfolio, what she was comfortable risking in a volatile tech stock, $26,000. The shares shot up 170% over the next year, and then Donna sold the position. Based on what she told us, she made roughly $45,000. For Donna, that was a nice boost to her retirement. Matthew, a retired doctor, said he made 172% from the same stock. And he wrote me a kind note saying, "Trades like this make my retired life in Thailand a true paradise. I'll use the profits to buy many mojitos." And David, a professor from Virginia, who was able to get in at a better price, made even more on the stock, 249%. David told me he's using the profits to build up his retirement nest egg. I absolutely love helping people like Donna, Matt, and David boost their retirement, or perhaps just buy a few more mojitos. And Inseego was just one of my stock recommendations that I gave them. This is my portfolio they have access to. And as you can see, it's full of stocks that are soaring higher. That stock, this one right here, that's over 100% gain on a new era real estate company. And here, that's 100% on a new era health company. And over a 200% gain on a new era medical company. The gains just keep stacking up. Now, I don't get it right every time, and you can see that too. Even despite one of the biggest tech booms on record, some of these positions are down. I point this out because I want to be completely honest and transparent. Investing like this isn't risk-free. But thankfully, the wins are big. Just take a look at my closed positions. They include an 88% gain on Everbridge, an emergency management software company, or SolarEdge, a company that makes important parts for solar panels. We sold half the position for a 110% gain in about a year. Then the second half at a 227% gain just a few months later. Tesla was the same way. We sold half our shares for a 552% profit, and then the second half for a 919% profit, all of which came in about a year. Now mind you, this was during a time when the stock market was flat. So while most expert investors were lucky to break even, our community was seeing these big gains. Now, I'm not telling you all this to boast, but rather to demonstrate that I'm helping people right now, at this very moment, invest in companies that are leading this massive tech boom. And I want you to profit as well. I want you to send me an email like this one I just opened from Cliff Frederick, who said, "I've been following Ian for 10 months, and he's given me no less than 3 picks that are up over 100% and many over 50%. This is a note from Debbie Sweeney. She said, "I'm a 75-year-old woman, retired, and I'm up 55% in my portfolio this year." And I love this one from James Brooks. He trusted my insight so much, we estimate he invested $263,000 into my recommendations. Now, he didn't have to invest that much. He could have invested $5,000 or just $1,000. But he read my research and was convinced that I was spot on. And 6 months later, James wrote me this incredible email. I really appreciate your insight, especially about disruptive companies. I'm up $468,000. Keep up the good work, love it. And now I want the same for you. I want to see you turn thousands into hundreds of thousands. Who knows, maybe even more. Which is why in a few minutes, I'm going to show you how to get full access to this exact portfolio along with all my research. Every stock and every buy price, along with a full explanation of why I'm recommending them. And you don't need a lot of money to invest in these stocks. Just start where you feel comfortable. But get started as soon as you can. Because this stock, this one right here, it has the most upside potential. It's a company so revolutionary, Investor Place calls it one of the most disruptive stocks in the world, and others call it a stock to hold forever. I'll show you the details in a moment and why it could soar tenfold over the next decade, turning every $10,000 investment into a $100,000 windfall. Now, I know that may sound extreme, but profiting from tech stocks like this is my passion. I bought shares of Apple after the financial crisis when the market was still sour on the company and it was trading for just $12 a share. Around the same time, I also invested in Immunomedics at $3 a share and Amazon when it was trading for just $182 a share. And while some people think opportunities like these are a thing of the past, mark my words, they've just started. There will be plenty of opportunities to make profits like this over the next 10 years. Because right now, America is leaping into the future, into a new era. It's a time when 5G, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and big data aren't just a luxury, but rather a necessity. Which is why, in this presentation, I'm going to reveal 3 key things. First, how to profit from this massive tech boom with my number 1 stock. A stock that my research reveals has the potential to soar 1,000% over the next decade. Why Wall Street's favorite stocks are destined to fall by 90% or more. Yes, despite this massive tech boom, some stocks will fall by 90%. And you'll see what stocks to sell today before it's too late. I'm also going to show you my secret for spotting these tech stocks before they soar. Once you see this secret, you'll know how to use it to make life-changing gains for yourself. But before I dive into these details, you should know a bit about me and how my hedge fund soared 1,700% in just 2 years. My name is Ian King, and yes, you heard me right. My investors saw a 1,700% gain in 2 years. Now, that's more than most people make in a lifetime. But that's not even the most remarkable part. It happened during the 2008 crash. You see, I was working at Citigroup a few years earlier, and I could see the writing on the wall. My research was conclusive. The reckless lending on Wall Street was fueling a housing bubble. But nobody seemed to notice or even care. So I raised some capital and launched a hedge fund. And at first, things didn't play out as I expected. Our performance was terrible. My idea was right, but I was too early. However, I trusted my research. And soon enough, everything unfolded as I had predicted. Within 2 years, the portfolio turned around and gained 1,700%. Since then, you may have even seen me on TV discussing emerging technologies, new era opportunities, and economic trends. I even went on to invest in a startup electric car company that was sold for $100 million a few years later. I was fortunate enough to get into Bitcoin when it was trading around $100. I love uncovering big trends before the herd rushes in. That's how I know that right now, at this very moment, there's an opportunity to make historic wealth. And that's because America is leaping into a bold new era, racing from the old world economy to the new world economy in the biggest tech boom ever. And I want to give you my number 1 stock to buy right now, a company crowned the most disruptive stock in the world. I think buying this company today could be like buying Apple or Amazon early on. But first, I think you need to see my secret for spotting these big tech winners before they soar higher. I want to share this with you because there was a time when I was making a lot of common mistakes. But then I discovered this secret, and I believe when you see it, you'll never look at the stock market the same way again. You'll have the chance to profit from the coming tech boom, no matter how much money you have or how much experience you have with investing. It doesn't matter if you're 20 years old or 80 years old. With this secret, you can invest in tomorrow's top companies today. Here it is. I call it the innovation breakout curve. Now, most companies follow this basic pattern. Inception is phase one, when the company is young. It's still run by the founder, the person with a vision. Most companies never make it through this phase. It's very high risk, very high reward. Phase two is breakout. This is when everything is lined up. The founder is still running things, the vision is coming to fruition, and demand for the product or service is soaring. Usually, at this stage, the company is on the verge of disrupting a big industry. It's relatively low risk, high reward. Maturity is phase three. This is when the company is well established and running smoothly. Most people hear about the company and then they start investing. It's low risk, low reward. The key, the secret, is to invest in these companies right as they enter phase two and sell them as they go into phase three. That's when the biggest profits can be made. And finding these stocks, to be candid, is what I love to do. You see, I started out at Salomon Brothers, and back then, it was the most profitable firm on Wall Street by far. I was fortunate to work with some of the best traders in the world. Traders they called masters of the universe and who've been memorialized in books. I learned so much from these guys. And it's experience like this that has helped me identify massive market shifts, such as in 2008 when the markets crashed and the rally that followed. And of course, it helped me invest in stocks like Apple, Immunomedics, and Amazon before they made the big move higher. To spot those companies, the companies entering phase two of this chart, I use these 5 metrics. It's pretty straightforward. The company must be in a growing billion-dollar industry. Now, think about online shopping, video streaming services, solar energy, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, 5G companies. You get the point. These are massive billion-dollar industries. You want to invest in companies that are in these big growing industries. Now, I want to make these 5 metrics practical. To show you how all this works, I'll use Tesla as an example for each metric. Again, we sold half our shares at a 552% gain, and then a few months later, sold our remaining shares for a massive 919% gain. All of this in around a year's time. And as you probably know, Tesla is in the electric vehicle market. That market is currently valued at $162 billion, but it's projected to reach $800 billion over the next 7 years. That's nearly 500% growth. It's incredible, right? This is one reason why I recommended Tesla in August of 2019 at just $46 a share. The entire industry was growing. It was hard to go wrong. And Tesla, with its stylish, fast, and now affordable electric cars, was the clear leader. But Tesla also matched the other 4 metrics. The second is, the company must have a proven CEO. I want CEOs who have a track record of creating and running businesses. Leaders like Apple's Tim Cook and Amazon's Jeff Bezos, who drive the business forward. The C-level executives must also have a stake in the game. I want to make sure they're invested in the company right alongside me. Let's take a look at my Tesla recommendation again as an example. The CEO is Elon Musk. Admittedly, Musk is a bit controversial. But the thing I love about him is his passion for the industry. He has no desire to please Wall Street. He has a single focus, and that's growing his business. And one thing I absolutely love about the management team is their tenure. They've all been with Musk since 2010 or earlier, and the top 3 executive leaders own over $40 million in shares. In other words, they've got a lot of skin in the game. But it's the third metric that really got me to add Tesla to my New Era portfolio. The company must have annual revenue growth over 20%. If revenue is growing, and if they have smart leaders, eventually the profits will follow. And when they do, the stock will soar higher. Again, look at Tesla. It's increased its revenue from $4 billion to $24 billion over the last 5 years. That's an average annual growth of about 100%. It's incredible. Now, when I recommended Tesla, it was still losing money. In fact, they lost nearly $1 billion. But as 2020 unfolded, the profits came and the stock soared. I also want to know if the company has the fourth metric, and that's if it's investing cash into its future growth. It needs to be creating new products, testing new markets, and acquiring competitors, rather than paying off debts, buying back shares, or financially manipulating its share price. As for its investments, Tesla continues to invest in its future, focusing on a million-mile battery and autonomous vehicles. And while its SpaceX program gets a lot of media attention, it's the solar panel business that shouldn't be ignored. You see, some states, such as California, are already passing laws that new homes must have solar panels. It's a trend expected to spread across all of America. And Tesla is making the most attractive kind of panels, the kind that you would never know are there. And its battery packs are the #1 in the industry, enabling homeowners to never worry about power outages again. But as great as all these points are, the most important part of our strategy is metric 5. That's the catalyst. The catalyst is a trigger that sends the stock from phase 1 to phase 2. Now, most people can't see this, not even the experts on Wall Street. For Tesla, it was actually a short squeeze. A short squeeze happens when too many people bet against the stock by shorting it. And then, if they're wrong, they have to buy it back. In August of 2019, when I recommended the stock, 24% of Tesla shares were being shorted. Now that's an insane amount. So when the stock turned around, it catapulted higher. By comparison, when we sold the stock a year later, right at its 52-week high, a mere 1% of shares were being shorted. So think of a short squeeze like a spring. As it gets pushed down, it looks worse and worse. But once it goes back up, it snaps back fast. That's why you saw the stock jump from $46 to $400 within a few months. Now, to figure out if a company meets all 5 metrics, frankly, you'd have to do a ton of research. For me, I have state-of-the-art data and equipment at my fingertips. I've got a Bloomberg terminal, Capital IQ portal, along with a team of professional researchers. We easily do 100 hours of research before we recommend a stock. If it doesn't meet all 5 of my metrics, I walk away. Again, Tesla met all 5 points, which confirmed that it was right here on my innovation breakout curve. If it's a company with strong leaders and strong revenue growth that's investing in its future and disrupting a big industry, I can be certain that it will soar higher. I just wait for the catalyst, and then it's time to buy. So I recommended buying Tesla on August 2nd, 2019 at $46 a share. Back then I wrote, grab 400% gains on the most controversial car maker. It wasn't long before the stock took off. Now, I want to pause a moment and highlight why it was so controversial. At the time I made this prediction, Tesla had fallen over 50% from its peak. Some analysts were calling for the stock to plunge 80%. Others said it would drop to $0 a share. But thanks to my innovation breakout curve, I knew better. I knew that it had massive potential. Less than a year later, the stock soared way past my 400% estimate. So I recommended selling half the position for a 552% gain in July, and then on September 1st, I said to sell the other half for a 919% gain. Every $10,000 ballooned to over $80,000 in about a year. For perspective, it typically takes 30 years to achieve those kind of returns. But those who followed my simple recommendation to buy Tesla made the same gains in just over a year. Take Susan Bryant, for example. She invested just a sliver of her portfolio in Tesla, just over $8,000. Now, again, you don't have to, nor should you, bet too much money in these stocks. Just what you are comfortable with. Then, a year later, Susan wrote me this email. I sold Tesla for a total gain of $62,265. You've taught me so much about the stock market. You are absolutely my stock guru. I can't tell you how humbling it is to receive emails like this. That's $62,000 in about a year. Susan made more money in one simple trade than the average person makes from a full-time job. And as you've seen, Tesla isn't the only winner I've recommended. A company called SolarEdge showed similar characteristics. It was headed from phase 1 to phase 2. So I recommended my readers buy it on August 28th, 2019. And SolarEdge did exactly as we had predicted. We sold half our shares for a 110% gain and the second half for a 227% gain. And Seagate, the 5G company I mentioned earlier, was going from phase 1 to phase 2 over a year ago. So I recommended that stock. And we were able to make a big profit on that one as well. And Overstock, the online shopping site with a big imprint in cryptocurrency, is yet another example. It was going from phase 1 to phase 2. As I mentioned earlier, I recommended it at a conference on September 14th, 2019. And the stock has soared 500% since then. You better bet those attendees were happy. Again, you can see my portfolio right here. I'll show you how to get full access to these stocks in a moment. I think you're going to love it. These gains have come in less than a year. But as I said earlier, this tech boom is in the early innings and it's just starting to take off. That's why I want to share my best idea with you. This one right here. I believe this stock could soar 10 times higher over the next 10 years. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happens in 5 years or even in 1 year like Tesla. So you'll want to act now if you can. Here's why. This graph, the innovation breakout curve, this is what things look like in a normal environment. But when America went on lockdown in 2020, we were thrust decades into the future, into a new era, and the time has been condensed. Look, we're at the start of a tech boom. It's not just any tech boom, but this is the tech boom of all tech booms. The companies that were supposed to move higher over the next few decades are exploding higher now. It's almost as if we've jumped to the year 2050 overnight. That's why you see so many little-known companies taking center stage. Online work solutions companies like Box and RingCentral that have powered higher. The cloud platform companies, Twilio and CrowdStrike, have soared up to 300%. E-commerce pet supply companies are another example. Chewy.com soared 190%. And I should know, I'm a loyal customer with 2 dogs at home. And as you can see, this tech boom isn't confined to one sector. As this boom moves through the economy, it will produce dozens of new opportunities to profit. And that gives you plenty of chances to turn a $10,000 stake into $100,000 this decade. I'll tell you more about my number 1 stock in a moment, particularly why experts are saying its growth potential remains immense, and why smart investors are piling into it at this very moment. You'll want to buy it today if you can, but first, I want to share something else with you. This is something that will seem obvious, but it goes almost completely overlooked. It's important that you see and learn how to recognize it. Take a look. The innovation breakout curve has a 4th phase, demise. Usually, the companies look strong on the surface, but it's falling apart behind the scenes. The company and its stock slowly fade away. You see, the truth is, most companies eventually fall apart. They go through a phase where bureaucracy overtakes innovation, morale is low, and workers are leaving for faster growing industries. And these companies fail to adapt to the changing times. To prove my point, just take a look at this. This is a list of the 30 companies that made up the Dow Industrial Averages in 1980. And over the last 4 decades, 26 of them have vanished, or they're a shadow of what they once were. Companies such as Kodak, International Harvester, Sears, Woolworth, and US Steel. The list just goes on and on. Now, this is a snapshot of the Dow stocks today. At least 20 of these companies will fall off over the next few years. In fact, I'll go ahead and cross them off for you. Now, I'm not saying they won't be around, but they'll be a shadow of what they are today. They're already fading away. Companies like Boeing, Chevron, IBM, and Walgreens are losing ground every day. Here's the important part. Because of the tech boom, this leap forward into the new era, it won't take 4 decades for these companies to fall apart. Some will actually die off in the next 5 years. And many of the companies in your own portfolio, whether you own them directly or through a mutual fund or ETF, will get destroyed. Most investors won't know it hit them. Their portfolios will get slashed in half, maybe even more, which is why I strongly urge you to take a close look at your portfolio, as in right now. Sell the companies entering phase 4 and buy the companies entering phase 2. That's what we're focused on. The companies leading this tech boom in innovative industries such as artificial intelligence, 5G, precision medicine, autonomous vehicles, and more. And in a moment, I want to give you full access to this entire portfolio. Some of these positions that are up double or triple digits could go up another 1,000% this decade, but they could also jump just like Tesla, and the gains could come within a year. But this one right here is my #1 recommendation. Those who followed my insight are already making lots of money, but I'm confident that this is just the start, because I think that buying this stock now could be like buying Tesla when it was trading for $46 a share. To some, it seemed pricey. After all, the experts were predicting it to fall another 50%. Instead, the stock took off. It rallied 919% in a little over a year. And I think my #1 stock could follow Tesla's parabolic trajectory. I'm not alone. Hedge fund manager Joel Greenblatt just invested $6.7 million in this company. Billionaire David Tepper invested even more, $60 million. And founder and chairman of Fisher Investments, Ken Fisher, invested a massive $196 million. They likely know what I know, that this company is disrupting the $74 billion payment processing industry. Now, let me explain. If you've ever used a device like this, or this, then you've already used one of this company's products. It's a leader in the financial technology industry, or fintech for short. It allows any business owner to turn their smartphone into a cash machine, skipping the hassle of signing a long-term contract and paying a bunch of money for one of these older, more clunky machines. But the best part is, a business owner can start using this device for free. In return, our #1 fintech company takes a 2.65% fee on every payment. Imagine making 2.65% on millions of transactions that happen every day. That small fee adds up to big revenue. And it was clear to me that their easy-to-use products for small businesses were ready to disrupt the $74 billion payment processing industry. That's just the start. This company is helping businesses manage employees, disrupting the $322 billion business solutions industry. Businesses that use the payment processing system can now use the same system to pay employees, submit taxes, send invoices, and everything in between. This takes on older companies like ADP. In sum, this company meets the first point on my checklist. It's disrupting not one, but two multi-billion-dollar industries by creating an entire new ecosystem for doing business. It has the potential to be bigger than Visa and ADP combined. And this company meets all four of my other metrics as well. The CEO has a strong track record, starting companies such as Twitter and helping others such as Disney while they were creating Disney Plus. So we can count on him to do it again. And the C-level executives have got a lot of skin in the game. The top three directors each have over $60 million at stake. And the revenue growth is unreal. Revenues have grown over 50% a year for 5 years in a row, from $1.2 billion to $4.7 billion. The company is actually hauling in $1.2 million per employee. Now, compare that to ADP, which brings in just $242,000 per employee. Again, this company is going to rise to the top fast. Here's another big plus for me. This company is investing heavily in new ventures to grow its business. Its new app is helping them compete in the digital wallet industry and allows people to use cryptocurrency instead of the dollar. This is the same reason I was so excited about Overstock.com before it went on to soar 500% in 1 year. And this company has a killer catalyst. Because this company is already acting as a payment processor and a business solutions company, disrupting a $70 billion and $300 billion industry, it recently announced that it developed a new artificial intelligence system to break into the $18 trillion banking industry. Now let me explain. If you've ever gotten a loan, you know that your FICO score is the key metric for your interest rate. And you also know how this system is outdated and, frankly, pathetic. A late payment on a $30 water bill that you missed could slash your score from 800 to 700, costing you thousands of dollars in the long run. It's embarrassing that we still use FICO scores, really. But our fintech company has access to all kinds of data using its payment processing system, its business solution system, and digital wallet. So it developed a better way to measure your ability or your company's ability to repay a loan. In sum, it's taking on the $18 trillion banking industry. And the numbers are already staggering. This fintech company gets new customers for about $20 each, whereas traditional banks have to pay $300 to get a new customer. I can't underestimate or tell you how big of a catalyst this is. It's massive. This company, my number one pick, isn't just disrupting one industry or two industries, it's disrupting 3 industries. But next on the docket, our fintech company will start allowing people to buy stocks and compete with the, get this, the $88 trillion money management industry. Again, this stock meets all 5 of my metrics, which is why professionals are pouring money into this company, and I think you should too. It's at the forefront of this massive tech boom, and it's sitting right here on my innovation breakout curve. As you can see, it still has a lot of room to run. I expect it to soar tenfold from here, which is why I want you to have this report, How to Make a FinTech Fortune. It gives you all the details on this company, and it's yours for free. But I don't want to stop there. As you can see from the model portfolio, there are many open positions, stocks that are soaring at this very moment. All of these companies benefit tremendously from this massive shift to a digital future. They're primed to soar higher. Some of them are likely to be listed in the Dow over the next few years. These companies are at the cutting edge of the most innovative sectors that have the potential to deliver 1,000% gains this decade. Many of them will become household names. You've already seen this with Zoom, Peloton, and Roku. For example, this company right here is disrupting the healthcare industry with genetic testing. It's opening up new ways for doctors to diagnose and treat diseases. Revenues are expected to soar 5-fold over the next 5 years. The stock is up 200% already, but I think this company could jump over $100 a share in the next 5 years as the revenues soar. This company will soon be the Walmart of Asia. It's already up a lot, and as shopping continues to move online, revenues are expected to rise 60% over the next 3 years. I expect to see this stock to reach 200% in that time. And this one is super interesting. It's a company that simplifies shopping for the second biggest purchase a person will make, a car. They make it fun, easy, and cost-effective. This company is emerging as a leader in online used automotive sales, and no, I'm not talking about Carvana. This could turn into a $100 stock in the next 3 years. Again, as this leap into the new era unfolds, as this tech boom takes off, you'll want to be in the stocks of the future. Doing so could hand you 1,000% gains over the next decade, which is why I'm going to show you how to get access to my entire portfolio today. But I'm going to do so much more than that. I'm also going to show you how to get my research and my top stock picks every single month forever. You see, after leaving Wall Street and through private ventures, I started helping other people out. Folks just like you. And I loved it. Watching the folks on Main Street make thousands of dollars was so much more fulfilling than helping the rich get richer. So in 2019, I launched a research service called Automatic Fortunes. And through this service, I'm sharing my model portfolio with them, all my top stocks along with their buy prices. And when it's time to sell, I alert my readers through email and text alerts. And the Automatic Fortunes community continues to grow. Today, we have over 100,000 subscribers, and they love it. Literally. Look at one of my subscribers named Joseph wrote. He gave me a 5-star review across the board and said, "Love it. I will get my friends to subscribe." And Roy wrote, "This is the first time in my life that I've been a successful investor, and I thank you for that." John also wrote, "I love reading Ian's recommendations. He is on the money every time. His advice gives me confidence. He is truly the king of the stock market." Now, let me be clear. All of these folks were just like you at one point. They were struggling to find the right investments. Then, they decided to give Automatic Fortunes a shot. And now they are seeing massive profit opportunities. Folks such as Michael, who said, "Thank you for all that you are doing to help little guys like me. You'll never know what a difference you've made in my life." And that's because Automatic Fortunes is the new way to invest in the stock market. Just like people are using new era companies like PayPal, Zoom, and Amazon to bank, work, and shop, thousands of folks are using Automatic Fortunes to invest in the stock market. Just think, the old way of investing, buying mutual funds through your broker, it's dying. They charge fat fees to manage your money, and studies show they take, get this, 70% of your profit, and you have to pay them even if they lose you money. Plus, these big funds still own plenty of old era companies. The ones that I showed you that will fall off the Dow over the next few years. They're carrying dead weight. Now that's the old era. Automatic Fortunes is the new way to invest in this exciting new era. And as the tech boom unfolds, there will be dozens of big profit opportunities. Now I'm telling you, there hasn't been this many opportunities to profit in decades. And I want to show you how to profit from this tech boom to help you achieve your financial goals. And it's all possible thanks to Automatic Fortunes. Let me show you everything you get with a subscription. It starts with access to my model portfolio. You'll get access on my secure website. I usually add one new recommendation to the portfolio every month. That's it. That's because, as you've seen, I'm very selective about the stocks in the portfolio. Very few companies meet all 5 of my New Era metrics. And once we enter into a position, we typically hold them for a few years as the gains stack up. And if you want details on the stock pick, you just click here. It pulls up an 8-page report that I wrote on the stock. When it's time to make a trade, you'll also get my timely trade alerts. You'll get an email with all the information you need. And if you like, you'll also get a text alert when the email goes out, letting you know it's in your inbox. All you have to do is make the trade. It's that simple. I'll also send you weekly video updates. These are 10 to 15-minute updates where I talk about what's happening in the markets and also review the portfolio. It's a great chance to answer questions from subscribers. I share my Wall Street insight to help calm your nerves and keep you focused on the opportunities ahead. For example, on March 12th, 2020, I sent out a video featuring the Fear and Greed Index. It showed massive fear. And at the time, I said this is very rare. When sentiment is this bearish, it's usually time to buy. And we started loading up on stocks. I said, you want to own Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and also other tech stocks in your portfolio. You think my subscribers were relieved to get this message in the middle of a crash? You bet they were. You'll also get daily email updates from my team and me. These are short articles that address what's happening in the stock market, so you're never out of the loop. And finally, you get access to my customer service team. Anytime you have a question about your subscription, just send them an email or give them a call. As you can see, Automatic Fortunes basically gives you access to me and my entire team. If you're as passionate about making money as I am, you can spend a few hours every month reviewing all the material. But if you've got other things to do, like enjoying your retirement or spending time with your family, that's fine too. You can just follow the basic model portfolio. It'll take about 10 minutes a month. And you can enjoy and live your life while money is working for you. It's a win-win. The point is, I created Automatic Fortunes for all people. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how much experience you have. I started this service for anyone looking to profit in the stock market. If you like making money, you're going to love Automatic Fortunes. The best part is, because we're literally a new era company that's taking investing research online, we've been able to slash the costs. Now, while you might expect to pay tens of thousands for this type of insight, you won't pay anywhere near that. I don't even ask for $1,000 or $500. All I ask for is $97 for an annual subscription. That comes out to less than $10 a month. This is the beginning of a new era with money-making opportunities everywhere you look. I want you to profit and don't want anything holding you back from signing up today, which is why your subscription comes with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So try it out for up to the full year. And if you don't like what you see at any point, just let me or my team know and we'll issue you a prompt and full refund. No questions asked. It's that simple. But frankly, the idea of canceling is the least of my concerns. Most people have such a great experience, they're thrilled to sign up for additional years. Take Chris, for example. He was in your shoes at one point, and he decided to sign up, and a year later, he gave me 5 stars across the board and wrote, "I just signed up for a second year. I recommend this service to anyone wanting to buy individual stocks to outperform the market." Gordon also gave me a 5-star rating across the board. He said, "Very pleased with the results and value received. Best I've ever done." And Henry wrote in, "Based on continued investment success, I just became a lifetime member of Automatic Fortunes. Keep up the good work. Chris, Gordon, and Henry love making money, so they love Automatic Fortunes. And I think you will too. And when you join today, you will get all the details on my #1 stock. It's right here on the innovation breakout curve. As America leaps 30 years into the future, into this new era, I expect this stock to soar 1,000% over the next decade. But it could happen much, much sooner. In the same way Tesla jumped 900% in 1 year. That's because it's not disrupting just 1 or 2 or even 3 industries. It's on the verge of disrupting 4 industries with a total addressable market over $500 billion, which is why professional investors such as Joel Greenblatt, David Tepper, and Ken Fisher have already invested over $250 million combined. And once you sign up for Automatic Fortunes, you'll get this free report. It gives you all the details on this stock. It's called How to Make a FinTech Fortune. But I'm just getting started. If you act within the next 30 minutes, I'll give you 2 additional reports. Each of these is valued at $100. The first is called The Company Leading the Big Data Money Boom. This report reveals a company that's leading the big data industry, an industry that experts expect will grow 18,000% over the next decade. And the second is called The Company Leading the $12 trillion 5G Revolution. Odds are you've heard of 5G. It's spreading everywhere. And as millions of people need high-speed internet for their homes, this company's technology is primed to surge, along with its stock price. It's critical you get these 3 reports. All 3 stocks could soar tenfold over the next decade as this tech boom takes off. Now, you'll have all the details you need, the stocks, the buy price, and the reason I'm recommending them today in these reports. These reports are valued at $100 each, but they are yours free today when you sign up for a risk-free subscription to Automatic Fortunes. Again, everything you see here, everything on your screen, is yours for only $97. I know you're going to enjoy your experience. You're going to enjoy the chance to make a fortune from these companies leading this massive tech boom, just like the thousands of people who have already signed up and are thrilled with their experience. People like Pat, who wrote, "Ian King is the real deal. Automatic Fortunes is a very good name for his services. You will not be disappointed if you subscribe." I'm looking forward to getting a note like this from you soon. Again, you have absolutely nothing to lose when you give Automatic Fortunes a try. Your subscription comes with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If at any time over the next year you aren't 100% thrilled with me, the stocks, my weekly updates, my research, it's no problem. Simply call my customer service team and you'll receive a prompt and full refund. This once-in-a-lifetime opportunity is yours for the taking. As America leaps into the future and this tech boom unfolds, fortunes will be made. And I want to help you make some of those fortunes. I urge you to take advantage of this opportunity today. It doesn't matter if you're a novice investor or a seasoned trader, or if you're 20 years old or 100 years old. Automatic Fortunes can help you get in on these tech boom fortunes. Simply click the button below to get started. And the moment you do, you'll be taken to a secure order page where you'll have the opportunity to review everything that's included with your 1-year subscription. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to a prosperous future together.